First, you understand the body. Then the heart is purified as well. When the heart is pure, you are always happy. Concentration of the mind comes automatically without your even trying. Only an impure mind runs here and there, forcing us to bring it back again and again. All the senses are controlled too, and then comes Atma Darshana Yogyatmani, fitness for self-realization, or the vision of the Atma. As a result of contentment, one gains supreme joy. Here we should understand the difference between contentment and satisfaction. Contentment means just to be as we are, without going to outside things for our happiness. If something comes, we let it come. If not, it doesn't matter. Contentment means neither to like nor dislike.
Today we are talking about accepting pain for purification and how to deal with that. And he tells us when you practice this austerity, it's an austerity. Accepting pain is an austerity, would you believe? And all these people call poking yourself, or like I said last week, walking on coals, or, whipping yourself as austerities, or starving yourself to death as austerities. No. Austerities does not mean that. The highest form of austerity is bare insult, bare injury, highest sadhana. Even Gurudev in his translation of this says, you can spend hours in a yoga room meditation, but only when you can be in a place when somebody is insulting you or praising you, that you can maintain equanimity of mind. The praise doesn't get you crazy, nor the insults get you crazy. You just, thank you, whatever happens. There's a lovely Sanskrit story about that, a very simple story. A man goes to this Swami. He's very upset with the Swami because he's changing everybody in the village, and he starts insulting him and swearing at him. And the Swami is going, and he goes, what's wrong with you? Are you sick? I'm swearing at you and you're not answering me. You're just smiling there. And Swami said, well, if I come and give you some fruit and you don't want the fruit, what will you do? And he goes, I'll just give it back to you. Yeah, it's yours. So if we can see it like that, then we don't take the harm that somebody is trying to cause us. Do you see? When we take it, we actually absorb it into ourselves. We take the negativity, okay, but if you try to build up that strength within you, bearing insult, bearing injury, highest sadhana, yes, it hurts. Initially, the early days is very painful. I remember telling somebody on the phone just today who was going through a very painful thing. I said, and she was like really upset, enraged, and I said, it's okay. She said, but I could really hurt someone. I said, you won't. It's not in your nature. But what they've done is terrible. It is terrible. It's not even nice. It's evil. But, so get the rage out on your own. Go to your room, get the pillow, hit it a couple of times, and ask yourself, that's exactly what they wanted you to do. Don't give them the pleasure. So she said, but what is the solution? So I gave her, anyway, a solution how she could fix the problem. And within 5 minutes, she relaxed. I said, you see, you're not that person. You would never hurt anybody. But initially, when somebody hurts you really badly, especially physically and mentally, you're going to get angry. It's going to happen. So it's a little bit of time before you accept. So you give yourself time. Now, this happened to her yesterday. She was angry all day today. So I said by 4:30, she was better. That's not too bad, do you think? She was more calm. She didn't want to cause harm to anyone, and neither to herself. And that was for me more important, because, and she recognized, and this is what the yoga study gives you, accepting pain for purification. You recognize that you're going through pain, you recognize the anger, you recognize the suffering, but you don't attack. And you are saved from that attack, right? And that karma is gone because you didn't create it. You didn't create the action. And what happens when you calm down, when something like that happens? And he says, occult powers again. You actually feel that you're very powerful at that point. And I'm sure all of you felt it at a time when somebody's really tried to hurt you and you've just stepped back and really wish nobody bad. There is something, it's like your soul has grown to such a level, because pain makes you feel very old. Have you noticed that? When people are in pain, they actually look older too, and they also feel older. They feel like they're carrying so much weight on their back, and their skin will look older. So when you're carrying pain, everything is affected. So then you don't want to do that to yourself anymore. And this is why the knowledge is important, and this is why we study, so we don't keep in the loop. And I was so pleased when she said, I'm sorry I called you. I said, I'm very happy you called me. I am and also always at the perfect time. I had a free half an hour. It was brilliant. I said, no, timing is perfect. So never fear this, because when something is so bad in your mind, sometimes you just need to talk to a Sangha member or a good friend. And at that time, it's also good to just listen, right? Without judging. Oh, you shouldn't think like that, you're a yogi. No. You're normal. Of course, if somebody hurts you so bad, you're going to feel it initially. Normal. Give yourself time. You're not like that. You're not that kind of person. And her answer was, yes, I'm not. I'm absolutely, and I'm not going to do anything hurtful. Yeah, that's all. You just needed to hear it. You know already. But sometimes, and this is why I love it when Sanghas get together, and how in most of every course we've done everywhere in the world, be it Portugal or England or Hong Kong or, wherever we've done it, in Spain, here, Gibraltar, you have created your own fields of contact with spiritual people. My advice is stick with them. Because the world can be a little hard and painful. And when you mix with everybody, it's really good to be friendly with all. Be comfortable everywhere. But don't spend too much time in the company of people who disturb your mind, or who are unhappy all the time, because it will go into your system and it will make you sick. It will. You see, know where you are at in life and be confident of who you want to be and how you want to be. How do you want to spend your life? You don't want to spend your life with other crazy thoughts in your head. You want to spend your life, which is, like we said, it's going so quickly. It's just being in, okay, sometimes things go wrong anyway. Look at the world. Look at the state of the world today. It's so painful, isn't it? Everybody I meet tells me they're crying when they watch the news. I had a gentleman say to me the other day, come and see me, crying. I said, just, don't watch the news so much. He said, now what's happening to our world? Where's the goodness? I said, well, it's always been going on. Throughout the years, look at history. It's just that now it's all in your face. It's everywhere. It's in social media, it's on the news. So you don't have time. In the olden days, there were wars going on, but we didn't see any of it. At least when I was born, it was very little. We read in the papers, a bomb here, a bomb there, but we didn't have what we have today. So it's very difficult for people. So we really, really need to understand accepting pain for purification is a very important part of the yogic practice. In fact, I think it's one of the most important. And then we go back to Sutra 1, Book 2, where Sri Patanjali again mentions accepting pain for purification, study of spiritual books, and surrender to Isvara Pranidhanam, or God, or the universe, whatever you want to call it, is Kriya Yoga. What does the word Kriya mean? They say cleansing. Kriya's actually, Kriya means to work out and cleanse out, right? Kriya Yoga. So it marks that as how you actually heal out your system. It's amazing. I mean, this science is just like amazing. And how do you do it? Oh my God, there is the secret again. Study of spiritual books. Why? Because when we are doing this, our mind is in a different place. And surrender we're going to cover it in a little while. So when surrender to the divine, accepting. We cannot control anything. So we want pleasure all the time. We want things to be as we want them to be. Cannot be. I'd like to tell you another story to explain this. There was this king who fell in love with a slave girl. He was madly in love with her. So he thought, I'm going to bring her into the palace. I'm going to marry her. She's so beautiful. And I'm going to make her my wife. So he thought, I'll bring her into the palace, dress her up. But the moment she got to the palace and the beautiful room, she started getting sick. Really sick, physically sick. She was getting thinner and thinner, and the king was like, oh my God, madly in love with her. So he called the physicians. Nobody could say what was wrong with her. So he announced to the country, anybody who can tell me what's wrong with her and save her life, I'll be eternally grateful. So came a priest, and he said, can I speak to her? So he went in to speak to the young girl. And he came out to the king and he said, I have the perfect medicine for her. Oh, thank God. He said, it's the perfect medicine for her, but the worst medicine for you. And he goes, what do you mean? What I'm asking you to do is going to be terribly painful. Anything you want, I will. I love this woman. I have to make her well. Well, your slave girl is in love with one of your servants. She wants to marry him. She can't marry you because she feels sick because she's in love with the other one. So if you let her marry him, I guarantee you she will be well. And the king was beside himself. Why? Watch this. He loved her too much to give her up. He loved her too much to let her die. So what does he do? Nothing. So, and many times we're crippled. We call it love. But if he really loved her, say, marry her and be alive. But he couldn't. And people always hope, oh, maybe this will happen my way. But sometimes your way is not the best way. And many times we get into painful situations, we don't accept it because we think things have to work out the way, if we do this, and this is going to happen. Many years ago, I learned that from one of my patients who came in. I think some of you already know this story. And she came to me and she said to me, oh, Nalini, I'm giving up with Lord Jesus, so I'm deciding to come to yoga. And I said, well, we accept everyone here. You don't have to give anything up, And why? Why are you doing this? And she said to me, well, I have been asking Jesus every day. I go to the church, I go to Mass, I light a candle every day to give me this thing that I asked for. After 1 year, I'm not getting it. And I go, maybe there's something better for you. And this is where people put themselves into painful situations by insisting things come out their way. Sometimes it is not the best way. This is why I always ask people, when you're in a painful place, really don't make any quick decisions. Wait. Be patient, because whatever decision you make out of spite or anger will come back to you. Cannot be done that. You have to wait till the pain subsides, the anger subsides, and then the right decision will be made. And there will be the least amount of suffering. But what does that again do for the person who accepts pain? They will burn, they will suffer, but again, they will get through it. Time is a great healer for all of us. Time heals everyone, all of you in your life. You've gone through difficult times. I go through this room and I can see it. And we all know time is a healer. And during that time when you study your spiritual books, you will start to understand, because you are not greedy. Remember, by the study of non-greed, the how and why and the illumination of your life, why you're in this life, comes to you, right? Because then you realize, oh, see, it's greed that I want this for me, with possessiveness. But no, accepting, no, not meant for me, not meant for me. It's painful, no greed. Then you realize, I am going through this for myself. It's my examination of me. It's my examination to see if I really believe in the divine in me, because the divine's in me as it's in everybody else. Upanishads, the Lord of Love is everywhere, upstairs, downstairs, to the side, in everyone. The divine is in me too. And I need to trust that the best is going to happen to me. Just like you said today, don't say, if I get it, say, I will. I will get the best for me. Might not be this thing, but I will get the best for me. The best that I deserve. I will. And it's that trust that will attract it to you. Oh, you love me so much, you trust me? Okay, Isvara Pranidhanam. Seek ye first God in all its righteousness, and everything else will be added. But seek ye the treasure that is in you, as Lord Jesus said, where thieves cannot steal it, moths cannot eat it, rust cannot rust it. There make your kingdom of heaven. Bhagavad Gita, know who you are. Weapons cannot hurt it. Fire cannot burn it. Wind cannot blow it. Same, right? Saying the same thing in different ways. Know who you are. This is who you are, spirit. So whatever you are cannot be taken from you. And this, when you accept pain for purification, this knowledge does come to you. It does, because long-term suffering, I have seen, brings so much wisdom if you understand. If you don't understand, bitterness happens. And this is why and when you're in pain, you're in I call it my favorite black cloud. People are in a black cloud. That's when you really need to be around uplifting people who can not tell you what to do, but just raise your energy. Raise your energy. Raise your energy. With love, you can raise the energy. Not telling you you have to do this, do that. Sometimes we spiritual people are too bossy. We need to keep quiet. Yeah. What do you think you should do? What do you think is the best action now? Do you think you will be happy causing revenge? Would it harm you when you cause revenge? How do you feel? You have to answer to yourself when you go to bed at night. And that's the truth. And whenever you stick to the truth, in the beginning, I can guarantee you, everybody will be against you. But if you stick with it, time will see that you were right, and everybody will follow you. It's happened to me, I don't know how many times in my life. So accepting pain for purification makes a lot of things very clear to you, and you do develop the siddhi. And the siddhi is, you trust the highest would be doing the best for you. For me, this is the best siddhi of all. To know there is a plan greater than mine. So this makes you learn a lot about life and other people. So the confusion, the pain I personally went through, never talk to anybody about it. Something I prefer to work out myself with the divine. I talk to God. And for me, that's my very best friend, because it tells me that feeling, go. So you shut out all the other voices, and this is what we were given, the gift that to communicate with the divine within you. And sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's not what you want to hear. Most of the time it's hard, but you just follow that truth in you and you feel safe. And this is accepting pain for purification. I'd like to read to you also what Gurudev says, because it's so incredible, this wonderful thing. But also I'd like to say, when we talk about austerities, practicing austerities, we including here physical austerities. Let me be practical now. Practical. Physical austerities. From time to time, it's very healthy to fast. You know, you did a 3-day fast, right? And you feel so, what did you tell me afterwards? I feel so much better after that, right? So from time to time, it's important to fast, to give the body a rest. It's really important to do that. From time to time, austerities, it's good to go away and have quiet time, you know, on your own if you can. I don't know why, I like alone. Everybody's different. Some people need to go to a big retreat with many people in it. But I think it's important people have time alone. Even if you go to a big retreat, if you can stay in a room alone, do, because then you have time to absorb everything you learn. Otherwise you learn and then you're talking it, and it's great. The discussions are great. You can do that at dinner, you can do that. But when you go to your room, if you're with somebody, I would advise say, we don't talk in the room. We stay quiet. And that's when you can just have the absorption of what you are learning, because it's important for you to really get in touch with the inner self. That's what we're lacking in this world today. There's too much noise. So that quiet time, I think, is really important. And you'll realize many things when you live in that silent time. So those are important things for the body. Exercise, keep your body healthy, really eat the right foods. This is all austerity of the body. Then we have austerity of the mind, and that's, you know, thinking good thoughts. We talk about purity of mind already the last 2 weeks. You know, when you see the negative thoughts come up, don't fight with them, replace them with something beautiful. Please don't fight with your negative thoughts. They will come back and attack you. They're painful. And you go, thank you, hello, goodbye, let me think of something else. Distract yourself. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's impossible. It just goes round and round and round and round. Seek help by that time. Because if it goes around too much, it really gets too much. Call somebody, get some help. It's always good to get help, all right, when you need it. And there's so many good people around and so many good therapists around. Today, there's so many wonderful people around. So get help. So that's the mental work on your mind. And spiritual. Make everything you do dedication. You know, you just make your mind in prayer a lot. This is why I always encourage mantra chanting, because if you do it all the time, in the end, it becomes part of you. And so automatically you're talking to somebody who's in trouble, and the mantra is going inside, and whether they know it or not, and it's not important if they do or don't. There's a silent prayer going on as they're talking to you already. It's really nice. And who does it benefit? Yourself. It benefits you. Somebody's calling you for help and you're just praying for them inside. But after that, what's happening in your mind? What's happening in your mind? Only love for that person. So what energy are you sending out? What energy are you sending out? Love. You're not sending out worry, fear, anger. You're not sending any of that out. Even though you're sad for them, but you're sending them love so that they can get the best cure for them. So this is the gift that you receive, and this is the wonderful practice of and spend time with your spirit, because that's where we're going to go after we leave this body. You're going spirit to spirit, so your soul. So spend time with your souls. And here Gurudev says, in order to make our minds clean and steady, we must accept suffering, pain, and poverty even. It is even more beneficial if at the same time that we accept pain, we bring happiness to others. The more pain, the more gain. The no pain, no gain. We should never run away from it. And many of you here have been examples of this as you've studied the sutras. I've seen you do this in your life. People who have caused you pain, you actually help them when they're in trouble. You know, life shows you itself. You just do what you do and then you see life fixes things for you. Because that's what we call Isvara Pranidhanam, the trust. And you know, I don't know how they did it, because bless them. But they developed this great power in them. If we understand this point and accept it, we'll never find fault with anybody who abuses, scolds, or insults us. If flowery words make us happy, but insults upset us, we know our minds are not yet very strong. The abuse helps us to understand that we are weak. And here Gurudev says, my master said, adapt, adjust, you all know it. Bear insult, bear injury. That is the highest sadhana, spiritual practice. To go into a corner and say a mantra is easy sadhana. Anyone can do it. But if we are insulted and keep a serene mind, it is higher than saying thousands of rosaries or japa. This is tapasya. So true. So exactly that. So this is austerities that we will talk about, and I will ask you to refer to, if you're doing this study with me, to a book 2, Sutra 1, and read that over tonight, because it does explain all the different practices and austerities. It'll be very good for you to read that too. It is associated with this. And of course you develop with these practices, because the mind becomes quiet, because it becomes serene, you develop things like clairaudience, clairvoyance. You will develop it. People start to tell me that I see people who do this practice and they develop gifts. They get dreams that tell them of things, I watch my own partner tell me this many times now. He has dreams like he's predicting things. And it's great. I said, Nani, how come? I said, well, the practice will bring you this gift. And it's nice for you to know, because then you feel, wow, there is so much more out there, isn't it? I haven't even touched. Why would I want to talk about petty things? Not interested. Not interested in nonsense, when there is so much joy to be had with just this knowledge. And this is what happens. And when you're surrounded by nonsense, you won't take it seriously. You kind of laugh. And you don't even judge it after a while. You just laugh. You just laugh. But long-term involvement will affect your cells. So that was 43, accepting pain for purification. Then we'll go on to 44. By study of spiritual books comes communion with one's chosen deity. What does that mean? When you start to read, you get connected with the person or the deity that you are communicating with. So for example, I'd like to give you the example of one of India's beloved sages, Sri Ramakrishna. If you haven't read his life story, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, please do. It's really very, very beautiful. When he started to read the Ramayana, which is a Hindu text, and he started to read about Hanuman. You've all heard about Hanuman, the monkey god. And he felt Hanuman's love for Lord Rama, how much he loved Lord Rama. He started to feel all that love that he actually started to behave like a monkey. He started jumping everywhere in the trees, and thank God he was, at that time, manager of a temple for a very rich man who totally saw that Ramakrishna was a different kind of soul. He was a very special person and understood it, where everybody was saying, Ramakrishna's gone mad. But he took on the form of that deity. And then when he read about Lord Jesus, he would see Lord Jesus everywhere. And he'd be quoting the New Testament everywhere. And so on, as he did with all the different faiths and all the gods and goddesses. And he was really one of the first ones in that generation to really see that truth is one, paths are many. And he took on the form of the deity. He connected so much with the deity that he and the deity became one. My father and I are one. We are one. Namaste. I see you, you see me. We are one. And when we work as one, there is an energy. And this is again, what you get from tapas, the joy of that energy, and that energy goes into your cell as well. And that energy is healing. So it's a win-win. It's healing, because when you're in this kind of energy field where everybody feels on a higher frequency, your body starts to heal. It does. Now the other day, somebody called me up, funny enough, and said she'd been doing a lot of mantra chanting, a lot. And she's getting very sick and she's not feeling well at all. And she said, could it be that I've overdone it with a mantra? What's going? I'm doing a good thing. You say we should do the mantra. I said, yes, but it could be Kundalini coming up and it's purging off the negative. If you're healthy enough to take the sickness, it will pass. Drink a lot of water. This is what you need. Nice salt lavender baths, nice smell baths. And I said, and get through it. But if you feel too sick, stop. Stop for a few days. Stop being so intense in your practice. Cool down the practice a little bit for a few days. Let it pass, the sickness, and then you can start again. It does happen. And I've seen this throughout, since it happened to me, and I've seen other people go through it, and there's not a lot of literature on it. It's more and more now. There's more and more literature, but there's not a lot of literature out on it. So I think it's really important to recognize these things, yeah? And this is where I was so grateful to my master, Sri Swami Satchidananda, for saying, take your time, there's no rush. Also, you can get, without getting sick, into ecstatic states that really feel very high. Also, when you get into those states, don't go too crazy with it. Just enjoy it. What I do is send it out to the world. May there be peace on earth. May there be peace on earth. So that you don't take too much of it, right? I don't know. I just do that. May there be peace on earth, and it feels right to me. And there's so many of you doing this work today, and such great souls. If this happens, I can see that you do this prayer. May there be peace on earth. And it's great. After that, you kind of like go through another frequency. It's like you've just been cleansed of something. So don't worry too much if you go through a terrible illness. Some people do 2-3 years and they don't know what has happened to them. And sometimes, because they don't know, it lasts longer. But when you don't worry about it, it goes quick. Accepting pain for purification. I needed to purge it. See how you know it right away? When you know it, it's not painful anymore, isn't it? Okay, this is really good for me. It's taken this off for me. It's whoa. And after that huge sickness, again, my medication went down even further. You see, so maybe something just had to be purged, get me strong again, and purged and strong again. I'm not saying it's always like that. Sometimes it's normal. People get sick when they're too tired or whatever, or the immune system, whatever it is. But when people are doing spiritual practice, I have noticed this happens. And finally, for the last niyama today, is Isvara Pranidhanam. Can you all say it?
Isvara Pranidhanam.
I love how Sri Patanjali calls Isvara, God as Isvara. I just love the word. And if you go back to book 1:23, it says, all samadhi is attained by devotion with total dedication to God, Isvara. Total dedication. So, in other words, some of them don't have to do anything. Just dedicate yourself to God within you. That's it. Whatever you call God. So here in the next one, look at what he says. What is Isvara? And when I studied this blew my mind. I loved it. Isvara is the supreme Purusha, unaffected by any afflictions, actions, fruits of actions, or by any inner impressions or desires. In other words, God is not affected by any affliction, any of your afflictions, any of your actions, fruits of your actions, or any impressions or desires that you may have. People always say, God, why me? Why did you do that? Not affected. The Purusha is pure. It's pure. It's you that is doing this. It's you that's creating all this pain in your head, in your mind. It is pure. It just gives you pure love like a crystal. And that's all you have to see. So if you see the crystal and just see the crystal reflecting you, what's going on here and here? Nothing to do with poor God. Don't blame Isvara for your problems. Your karma, your actions and reactions. You were like that king. I don't want to let go. So she's going to die. She's going to die if you don't let her go. But he's not willing to give up his love for her. Love or possessiveness, selfishness, right? But people in that place can't see it. I need it. So if I can't have it, nobody can have it. How many times have we seen this in this world, right? How many times have we? I can't have it, you can't have it. So this is what it's talking about. God has nothing to do with all of this. And I go, oh my God, sorry I blamed you for all these years. All you do is give me love, and all this stuff is coming from my own misunderstanding of the divine. I mean, even the Upanishads, that's why I love Swadhyaya. And it says, what is the Lord of Love? The Lord of Love is like a blazing fire, giving out all these sparks, millions of sparks. And like the Lord of Love is giving out all these sparks that are us. We are God's sparks. So we are divine. We're God's sparks. And when you study and see, we always feel separated because the human form is this way. So the more we can spend that time feeling integrated with God rather than separated, then there is a great sense of knowing that you are always looked after. Always looked after. And no matter what happens, and pain happens, because this is the planet we chose, and it happens here, only to wake us up, only for our good, only for purification. Like I said, if you don't have pain, every single person I've known that come into this path, including me, is through pain. Is through pain. Every single person. So it's interesting. So I love that explanation of God. And then he says here, I'm just going to do two more, because I know we're not in 25 and 26, but we might as well do it because it all ties together so beautifully. 25, in him is the complete manifestation of the seed of omniscience. That means everything comes from it. And it took me a lot of time to understand this, but then Gurudev's explanation is really good. And if you can go home and do what I did, draw a picture and really sink that idea in, it is very helpful. It is very helpful to think of God as in me and everyone is a very, very difficult thing to understand. So just doing these little drawings helped me. And here he says, in other words, he is all-knowing, or she, whatever it is. It is knowledge itself. The cosmic knowledge is called the Supreme Soul or Purusha. How can we imagine or visualize it? Imagine a circle. Now all of you close your eyes and see a circle. See a circle. You see the space within it and the space outside of it. See it clearly. Space within the circle, space outside the circle. The inner space is finite and the outer space is infinite. That is true. It goes on forever, doesn't it, the outer space? If you accept the existence of a finite space, automatically you have to accept an infinite one. Without infinite, there can be no finite. The moment you say, I am a man, there must be a woman. If you say left, there must be a right. The thought of one implies the thought of the other. We feel that our minds and knowledge are limited and finite. So there must be a source of infinite knowledge beyond that. Infinite knowledge beyond that. We break that circle. Make it one. And that helped me a lot to understand infinite and finite. And 26. Unconditioned by time, he is the teacher of even the most ancient teachers. So, although all knowledge is within you and you need not get it from outside, somebody is still necessary to help you understand your own knowledge. That is why a teacher or guru is necessary. He or she helps you to go within and understand yourself. To help you, your guru must know something, him or herself. From where did your guru get that knowledge? It must have been learned from somebody else. There must be a chain of gurus. Then who is the first guru? There may be hundreds and thousands of gurus, but there should be a primary one. There should be an infinite reservoir of knowledge from where all knowledge came in the beginning. That's why Patanjali says Supreme Purusha or Isvara is the guru of all gurus. Okay? The guru of all gurus. Gurudev says, who is guru? What is guru? The consciousness within you is your guru. So, and then the word, and we'll finish on this one, the word expressive of Isvara is the mystic sound, you all know. NASA recordings have found that the sound coming from the rays of the sun, you've read it, right? What sound is it? If you sit quiet in your house, everything is humming, isn't it? The fridge is humming, this speaker is humming, the microphone, everything is humming. So we are humming too. We finish with that today.